Arjun Mahendran leaves the country hours before the COPE report into the central bank bond issue is to be presented to Parliament tomorrow. Civil societies make a plea regarding the bond transaction.
ඒ ඔක්කොම පරදුවට දාලා අපි හදපු ඔබතුමාගේ ආණ්ඩුව හරි දේ කරන්න බය වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා මේ රටේ ජනතාවට පෙන්වන්න මෙන්න ඔබතුමාට අවශ්‍යයි.
VAT amendment bill to come into effect from the 1st of November. Newsfirst come at the celebrates 100 days, bringing joy to the many in rural Sri Lanka.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your primetime news bulletin. I'm Shade Silva.
And I'm Dasni Athalda. Let's start off with a look at tonight's top story. President Maithripala Sirisena inspected the Gannuru Regional Agricultural Research and Development Centre today. The President, who toured Peradeniya today, also inspected the Research and Development Centre this morning. The President also engaged in a cordial discussion with the students following different courses at the centre.
As mentioned in your headlines tonight, former governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka had left for Singapore hours before the COPE report on the Treasury bond scam is to be produced before Parliament.
We have received some information now. Tomorrow, the official report of the chairman of COPE on the Treasury bond scam will be presented to Parliament. The main person alleged to have been involved in this scam, Arjun Mahendran, has left the country around 15 minutes from the airport. This is the reality. However, his passport cannot be impounded because the Sri Lankan judiciary has no right to impound the passport of a foreign national. He has now left. The net of the Minister of Fisheries is not sufficient to nab the shark. It broke through the net.
When contacted this evening, the Office of Immigration and Immigration at the Bandaranaike International Airport confirmed that Arjun Mahendran left for Singapore at around 2 this afternoon.
The COPE report on the Treasury bond scam at the Central Bank of Sri Lanka is to be produced in Parliament tomorrow. The report has clearly named Arjun Mahendran as the main person involved in this scam. It is also reported that the report has made recommendations on the measures that need to be taken on him. These are recommendations that are made to bring those accountable before the law and to reclaim the loss. However, today Arjun Mahendran has left the country. Not only Arjun Mahendran, former Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Defence Damayanti Jayawardena, charged over the avant-garde issue, has fled the country. 2 board directors of Namal Rajapaksa's Hello Corp had left the country. Udayanga Weerathunga, a relative of Mahinda Rajapaksa who is accused over the MIG deal, has also left the country. Fraudsters have looted public funds in millions and billions and are attempting to leave the country. What the government should have done is this. Arjun Mahendran's connections over the Treasury bonds have led to controversy. Therefore, the government must take an immediate measure. The government has created the way for them to leave the country when the COPE report is being presented. Economists say that the loss of the central bank is over 50 billion and that Arjun Aloysius' company has profited in 1,000 million. These are public funds. When these corrupt persons are escaping with the public funds, the UNP, which has paved the way for them to do that, must not only take responsibility for it, but must also take measures to bring those persons before the law. We call on the President to use his executive powers in order to protect the people's money. When they stepped down from the central bank, the leaders of this country protected their friends by giving them to other positions. As the anti-corruption front, we are strong with our stand that the law should be implemented against this relationship between the father-in-law and the son-in-law, and they should be punished for the fraud they have committed. Furthermore, the wealth they have acquired should be reclaimed and the relief needs to be provided to the people. Though they have left the country via international law, they need to be brought back and placed before the law so that they can be punished. The smuggler known as Udayanga Weerathunga was involved in many fraudulent activities and brought disrepute to the country. He is operating internationally and we do not see any action being taken against him. The current government is following the same process on Arjun Mahendran. The operations of ministers in this regard is disappointing. State ministers are exerting influence on media institutions based on their relationships to stop this revelation. Therefore, the role of the media is to not operate based on relationships, but to act in a manner that results in the betterment of the citizens. We inform those ministers to stop exerting any influence on media institutions that are serving the people. It is in fact disgraceful that some ministers are defending Arjun Mahendran unconditionally. We inform those ministers to stop these acts and not use the resources of the nation for this.
කම් නතර කරගෙන ඒවා වෙන ආකාරයකින් පවත්වාගෙන ගියාට අපිට ගැටලුවක් නැහැ. රටේ සම්පත් ඒවා වෙනුවෙන් භාවිතා වීම පිළිබඳව අපිට විශාල ගැටලුවක් තියෙනවා. ඊට එරෙහිව අපි කටයුතු කරනවා.
Chairman of COPE parliamentarian Sunil Handanethy announced last night that the report on the Treasury bond scam will be presented to Parliament tomorrow. He made the announcement following extensive discussions in COPE.
The Committee on Public Enterprises or COPE convened last evening with its chairman and 23 members. The meeting began at around 2:30 last evening and was adjourned for a short period due to the vote on the VAT amendment bill and went on until 8:30 last night once it convened again. All members reached an agreement on the recommendations made in the report. The committee unanimously agreed that the report should be presented to Parliament on Friday. On a previous occasion, tensions flared in COPE, prompting the chair to leave the sessions, where he also made a statement to the members to place someone else in the chair and discuss what was required. After the discussion of the UMP members in COPE, Deputy Minister Ajit P. Pereira said that investigations will be carried out against the company of the son-in-law of Arjun Mahendran and action will be taken under the criminal law. The chairman's report will be presented to Parliament tomorrow. In the end, the UMP members had to agree with the recommendations made by the Auditor General, the chairman and COPE itself.
Your leader says that the report signed by 11 members will be presented. Is there no difference in this?
There is no change in the report. At present, all members of COPE have reached the agreement and not only 11 members. How did the Treasury bond scam take place? What was the influence of the former governor of the central bank and his intervention? Was the loss incurred by the country? In addition to the governor, are there any other central bank officials involved in this? Everything will be exposed. Not only will they be exposed, COPE has also recommended that all of them be punished. On Tuesday, Chairman of COPE assured Parliament that he will expose the obstructions faced. When I am presenting the Treasury bond report to Parliament, I will reveal all the details to the nation. Many things will be exposed. This was the theft committed 21 days ago. After tomorrow, we will tell the people the actions of those who acted to protect the rogue.
News First made inquiries from UNP MP Harshana Rajakaruna over the stance held by the UNP members of COPE yesterday.
We completed the task successfully and independently without any interference. Even though charges were levelled against the members of the United National Party, in the end the country will realise that we completed the task in a very independent and truthful manner and that all members of COPE, including those of the UMP, are committed to safeguarding the trust placed in us by the people of this country on the 8th of January and the 17th of August. In carrying out our duties, we have been able to fulfill and protect the wishes and dreams of the people and the trust placed in us. Even though MP Harshana Rajakaruna expressed these views today, some other UMP COPE members had this to say in the recent days. Nowhere in these recommendations it is mentioned that the criminal law should be enforced or that a police investigation should be carried out against Arjun Aloysius or perpetual treasuries who made mammoth profits through this deal. Yesterday we had the courage to recommend that Arjun Aloysius should be tried under the criminal law of this country and that steps should be taken to arrest him following a police investigation. We have no right to speak on what happens within COPE. The persons who are making these statements have no understanding on COPE. Certain media institutions, including one that I know well, are continuously slinging mud at me as well. They say that this is being blocked. We are persons within COPE. Anyone can make inclusions in COPE. The recommendations are there. Everything was gathered and a draft was presented. Afterwards, we will look into what can be done legally and what is the situation. That is what the UMP MPs are doing. There is no chairman's report. You need to understand this. The chairman is the one who will present the committee report. The chairman does not understand at times. It needs to be told to the chairman.
The main topic of discussion at the SLFP media briefing 2 was on the COPE report of the bond scam.
There is nothing to fear. Everything was completed last night. I cannot say. This issue has been widely spoken of. However, I cannot speak on the recommendations. I cannot do so whilst being a member of COPE. We can speak on that afterwards. It appears that he has done a wrong. I'm expressing my personal view. It is very clear. He has done many things that should not have been done by a state officer. He should have thought about that when taking up the position. He's an economist. We are aware of that. He was respected about his son-in-law being an owner of a company in these markets when taking up this position. He was moved to the topmost position where the money in the country is being controlled. He should have thought to move away and set up a separate company. But rather than doing that, he started to do the other thing. I personally believe that he has committed a wrong. This issue was present since February 2015. This is the first time that an issue of the central bank has been taken to COPE. At this time, we are attempting to bring in investors to the nation. When the next auction takes place, the credibility of this is questioned. That is why the President decided that he will not extend the tenure of this person. The President took the correct decision. What was reported in the papers recently, some COPE members have even filed cases. Some even call for the arrest. A COPE member cannot make such a public statement. They already have come into a conclusion.
Members of civil societies express views on the investigations carried out by COPE on the central bank bond issue during a media briefing organized by the Janata Buddhi Mandapaya.
පෙරේදර එකඟ වෙන්නේ නැතුව වාර්තා දෙකක් හෝ වැඩි ගණනක් ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න හිටපු මේ කට්ටිය
This group that was not in agreement on Tuesday and called for 2 reports or more to be produced have agreed to one comprehensive report overnight. The people would question what parts were left out on and what matters they agreed upon. This is like a game now. We can see the Treasury bond scam. The question to COPE is, what happened at the central bank? And did the governor act in a manner that benefited his relatives? We need to know the fraud carried out by the governor who lives on public money.
කරගත්තු මහා බැංකුවේ අධිපතිතුමා මොකද්ද කරලා තියෙන වංචාව කියලා අපිට දැනගන්න ඕනේ.
අපි දන්නවා රුපියල් බිලියන 5ක් අයථා විදිහට මේ වංචාව තුල සිද්ධ කරලා තියෙනවා නම්
We know that 5 billion rupees have been misappropriated through this fraud. If that is so, each and every person in this country have been defrauded by 20,000 rupees and in turn have become debtors to the nation. If certain members of parliament are trying to safeguard the governor of the central bank who gave the leadership and orchestrated this deed, we can only feel sorry regarding the selection process of these public representatives. There is nothing else we can do.
හොරාපත් කර ගැනීම පිළිබඳව කම්පා වීම හැර වෙන කිසි දෙයක් නෙවෙයි. ඉන්න නීතිඥවරු ඔක්කොම UNP එකේ ඉන්නව ඔක්කොම දැම්ම COPE කමිටියට.
All the lawyers in the UNP were included into COPE. This is part of the contract where these members can talk the law and discourage Handunetti, thereby creating an opportunity to create their own report.
හයි නීතිය කතා කරලා Handunetti කඩලා දාපන්. කඩලා දාලා අපිට ඕන report එක අදලා දීපන් කියන එක තමයි කොන්ත්‍රාත්තුව. අර්ජුන මහේන්ද්‍රන් මහත්මයාගේ බෑනාගේ සමාගම.
The son-in-law of Arjuna Mahendran steps away from the board of directors of this company long before this issue arose. He was removed from the company using pre-dated and post-dated letters. After he was removed, the direct ownership of this company lies with a company called Perpetual Asset Management. Now that company is owned by a company called Perpetual Capital. Now the name of that company has been changed. Now there is no company named Perpetual Asset Management. If you look for that company in the register of companies, it does not exist. It is a company that has been shut down. However, who are the final owners of these 3 companies? The beneficiaries are none other than Arjuna Aloysius and his father. It is these 2 individuals who are directors of these companies and are its shareholders. It is the former governor of the central bank who should bear the responsibility for the debt burden of each and every citizen of this country, increasing by 20,000 rupees.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා මහ බැංකුවේ එදා හිටපු අධිපතිවරයාම තමයි.
ජනතාව වශයෙන් මේ මතක තියාගන්න.
You must remember that many politicians in our country like the concept of establishing commissions. Then they can drag the investigations of this issue for another 2 to 5 years and then they can slowly forget about this issue. The president is the leader of this country. He is the leader of the executive. Therefore, as the public, we request that this is an opportunity for you to do the right thing and prove yourself to the people of this country who sacrificed everything they had in order to create this government.
මේ රටේ ජනතාවට පෙන්වන්න මෙන්න ඔබතුමාට අවස්ථාව.
Here are several other views that were expressed on the COPE inquiry.
ඔප්වාර්තාව කියන්නේ දැන් ආණ්ඩුවට සිද්ධ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ මේ රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ.
The government of Ranil Wickremesinghe now wants to change the COPE report. If this needs to be changed, the MPs must listen to their superiors, make the report and make it public. This is something done to cover up their disgraceful acts.
ගන් දෙන්නත් ඕන, කෝප් වාර්තාව හදන්නත් ඕන, එළියට දාන්නත් ඕන, තමන් බේරෙන්නත් ඕන, විලිලැජ්ජාව වහගන්නත් ඕන. දේශපාලනයට සල්ලි හොරකම් කරලා ගන්නවා.
They are looting a state property for their political funding. If the issues in politics need to be solved, something like a no-confidence motion must be presented. This is a political answer. It is not enough to say that Arjuna Mahendran took away the funds. Where are these funds? The government has mobilized this. Those who are not in the UNP had also mobilized.
මොබිලයිස් කරගෙන ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන ආණ්ඩුවේ UNP එකේ නැති අයත් ඒකට ගිහිල්ලා සම්බන්ධ වෙලා
මේ මේකට අර්ජුන මහේන්ද්‍රන් මහත්
The Prime Minister cannot escape from this situation because in the event Arjuna Mahendran is found guilty, as he had clearly mentioned before that he was only able to act in this manner following the guidance of the Prime Minister. We can see that they are trying to accuse and punish other individuals in an attempt to avoid punishing the Prime Minister.
With the Capital Maharaj Organization Limited announcing that it would continue with the Gum at the initiative, events were organized in many parts of the country by the locals to express their pleasure on this.
The public across the island who were provided with clean drinking water facilities, stable roads, bridges, culverts, community halls and basic infrastructure facilities gathered together in organizing multiple celebratory events to mark 100 days of the Gum at the 100-day initiative. Today, the people of Ilukapatani in Bibila, who struggled for many years without access to clean drinking water, celebrated the end of that era in a manner which surprised all of us. The people of Hambekamu expressed their gratitude to the Presidential Task Force on Prevention of Chronic Kidney Disease and the Sri Lankan Navy in joining hands with Newsfirst in providing them with clean drinking water. The villages in Thanamalvilla, Hambekamu, Rathabalagama, Janapadagama, Devaragama, Alutubava, Kulegama and Kakurulam Palasa expressed their appreciation to the Gum at the initiative after receiving clean drinking water after being deprived of this luxury for many generations. In addition, the Gum at the 100-day initiative was also able to construct a community centre and a culvert for Inguragaswava, Watamada, Degalaru areas respectively. The construction of a road to Damanaya in a matter of days was one project that raised eyebrows across the country. There were celebrations among the people in Usana after they were provided with a bridge. Following the devastating tsunami in 2004, the people who arrived at the Baptist village in Badegama were living there for many years without access to clean drinking water. The Newsfirst Come at the 100 Days initiative was able to provide them with clean drinking water. The road in Kinakatia was also reconstructed in a manner suitable for travel. Today, all these people showed their appreciation for these efforts that were carried out for them. Now the children can go to school.
Do not stop this from today. Continue with this program.
The people in Borala who did not have access to clean drinking water for many years and were provided with this luxury invoked their blessings for this initiative to continue. The locals in Ruanpura and Gamanipura in Hatton also expressed their gratitude after their thirst was quenched through the Gammadda initiative. The people of Vilachia and Anuradhapura were able to conduct their general activities at the community hall, which was constructed under the Gammadda 100-day initiative. The locals in Padikana Madua in Kalimbindinuava invited the Newsfirst team in celebrating the joy of marking 100 days of the Gammadda 100-day initiative. For years, students in Periyaparanthan in Kilinochi had to carry water flasks to school. However, through the Gammadda 100-day initiative, we were able to provide them with clean drinking water facilities located in the school premises itself, to which the locals expressed their gesture and gratitude to Newsfirst. The villagers of Uttucheni and Kaluvankani, who spent most of the time of their life in the search of water, were given a sigh of relief through the efforts undertaken by the Gammadda 100-day initiative to supply the village with water. This is the manner in which these villagers showed their gratitude to us. The celebration to mark 100 days was organized by the students of Mahasin Junior School of the Attanakadavala village together with the villagers of Valikanda. It was through the Gammadda initiative that the villagers of Singapura were provided with clean drinking water, and the students of Attanakadavala were also provided with a school building.
Today we are very happy.
You have done a large number of tasks in 100 days that the previous government failed to do. All these people who organized these events to celebrate the 100 days requested for this effort that brings relief to the people to continue even further.
The Ministry of Finance today announced that the value-added tax and the nation-building tax will be implemented from the 1st of November. The ministry said in a statement that VAT would be increased from 11% to 15%.
According to the statement, 82 different goods including wheat, wheat flour, rice, sugar and dal are exempt from VAT. Cigarettes, alcohol, telecommunication services, perfumes, jewellery and milk powder will be subject to VAT. In the health sector, consultation fees, specialist fee and hospital room charges are subject to VAT as well. The sale of houses is exempt from VAT. The nation building tax rate would remain unchanged and will be applicable to telecommunication services and electricity. The ministry says that though the NBT is applicable on electricity, it will not have any impact on the electricity bill.
A CEO breakfast meeting titled Business in Asia and Beyond 2016, organized by the Sri Lanka Philippine Business Council, got underway in Colombo today.
You will still see.
General Manager of AF Jones and host of the Face the Nation, Shamir Razuldin, moderated the meeting.
Well, in theory, it is not happening. It is only in the drawing boards. They should have an equal level playing field. The private sector were to be active, the policy must be clear. This government comes and gives another policy, other governments give us the other policy. The private sector in disarray. They don't know which way to go. This will not only affect the private sector company itself, affect the planning of the government. Look at the power crisis. Today, this power crisis would have been averted. All the PPAs that was established was disbanded. What happened? Today we are in this calamity. They are looking at the sky and waiting. So there must be a coherent policy. The system goes. Government may change, politicians may come, politicians may go, but the system has to go. So fair play has to be established. These crooks and komiskakas of that government comes and joins this government. So the same old systems are being carried on another government. So this carnival has to go and stop.
Mr. Jawaharlal, you said that there is inconsistent policy. I think when you said that the finance minister was not here, but now he is here. Bringing that out to light. So do you still believe there is inconsistent policy in Sri Lanka?
Of course.
When you inherit the economy, I don't think you can rectify all errors that have been inherited to also carry forward to us in a day. But we are certainly trying to dismantle all inconsistencies there and trying to bring a sense of consistency, coherency into the economy.
When I mentioned the inconsistency, look at the power sector. Why are we today in that mess? Why? You have one system, one government, other one they cancel, all the power plants are exported. Today you have no power. Is it not inconsistent?
Interesting points. You had the finance minister saying, give us some time to implement good governance. Of course, the people of Sri Lanka would be waiting and seeing on Friday when the COPE report is out whether good governance will be in play. So a big challenge for you, Minister Ravi Karunanaike, as far as the COPE report is concerned. Then you have Mr. Ravi Karunanaike.
You mentioned about the COPE. I don't see what the COPE report has got to do with good governance with us. We have only allowed a situation that they can report today. When did that happen in the last 11 years? I'm sorry, I need to take our mind back to 11 years when you all were unable to even have a discussion like this. Today we are here, able to engage with you. The report had nothing to do with what goes on. It only showed what transparency that we win. If you mention that we lost out 2 billion over the last transaction,
11.2 billion.
Yeah, then what would have happened for 4.7 trillion which went out on this private placement before? Then what would be the loss that is there? So I mean, you're comparing two different things.
Ms. Ravi Karunanaike, I think that is why the people voted in a new government on the 8th of January 2015. And that is why a coalition government was appointed by the people of Sri Lanka on the 17th of August last year. So you know why, and you don't want to see a repetition of that again.
If you want consistency, keep voting for us.
Trail, a walk initiated to combat the deadly disease cancer, completed its 22nd day today.
The participants commenced their journey from Moratua this morning and ended the day in Payagala after walking a distance of 21 kilometers today. The 2016 edition of Trail has seen over 2,500 participants and 8,000 donors in a bid to raise $5 billion in order to construct a new cancer treatment facility at the Karapitiya Teaching Hospital in Galle. The walk takes place over 28 days and spans 670 kilometers along the length of the country and has passed the 450 kilometer mark as of now.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight. For the News First team, I'm Dasnia Talbot.
And I'm Shane Silva. Take care and good night.